Hey everybody, it's Stuart and Kevin back once again here at SmallCapVoice.com. And this is a little bit different than our typical online business briefing where we're speaking with one of the company representatives of one of our clients or potential clients, or maybe it's just a company that you referred to us. Today we're going to be talking about our long-term client again, but more than that, and that would be KULR Technologies Group, traded on the NYSE under the ticker symbol KULR. It's really about some of the organic information that has just been released. I want to draw your attention right at the outset here to a company or a group, Insider Financial. That's how you're going to find them on YouTube. I love this whole headline. NYSE penny stock with a history of squeezing the shorts, exclamation point. This jumps out to me because it goes back to early 2024. They talk about a lot of the triggers and the drivers that saw KULR jump up appreciably up to around the 90-cent mark. You don't have to watch their whole video even to catch this. It starts right at the very beginning. Important stuff. Again, we want to give them credit where credit is due. Go find them, subscribe, like them. And to that end, and a validation of what he's saying about some of these drivers and attention, this just came out. And our dateline today is September 26, 2024. Headline here is KULR, experts in high-end lithium batteries for all commercial and government uses, including space. This looks like it's a first foray into the company by Zacks Small Cap Research. That's big stuff. And that all comes as really something that hit us right on this dateline, because we were getting together, Kevin, to talk quite a bit today about the AMA that happened last week with Will Walker that you were a part of. Let's walk through that Ask Me Anything and what you saw as maybe something that was important that maybe not everybody is grabbing onto quite yet, but you saw it as something that, hey, this is really the footholds that the company's been able to establish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, we had a good turnout for the AMA. But to be honest with you, I think a lot of that went under the radar with everything that's been happening surrounding the KULR sphere. If you look at this wire, and I mean, I had to start listing off some notes here, just within the past week and a half here, 3 KULR partners have secured massive contracts, and KULR very well may be involved in every single one of these. That would be Clarios, Cerba, Amprius, Forge Nano, all these companies doing amazing. And so I do think that the AMA did get a little overshadowed. And that's why yesterday we at Small Cap Voice, we went onto our Reddit account and we posted a Google Sheets document, a public link to that. So that way anybody can just quickly go through every single question and answer without any of the commentary or additional chatter from the chat there. And so make sure you check it out. It is juicy. Typically when we do an AMA, and we've done several of these, we'll get like the CEO to come in and talk vision with everybody, talk financials, talk stock, talk all of that stuff. We had the CTO of KULR come in on this one. That's not that typical to bring in the technical guy who's going to talk about all the cool stuff and the technology. He talked a lot about his history at NASA and a lot of the licensed technology that KULR's working with. Some of my personal favorite parts were the extensive, just the time that we took on KULR One. That's really shaping up to be something really impressive over there. And we're seeing that come to fruition in a lot of the contracts that we just saw yesterday with the US Army. That expanded contract is surrounding the KULR One design program. KULR One is a lot of different things. So you're going to hear a lot of different names attached to it. KULR One Space, KULR One Guardian, KULR One this, that, and the other thing. It's all under the same umbrella. It is this single source battery system, a battery management system that'll cover you completely. And that's what's really exciting about the KULR One product. Also inside of the AMA, we talked a lot about KULR Vibe, which I think is the sleeping dragon for KULR. I'll say that again. I think KULR Vibe is the sleeping dragon for KULR. KULR is known for a battery management company and all the wonderful technologies that they produce to prevent thermal runaway propagation. But the stuff that they're doing in the vibration space is out of this world. If it rotates, they can control the vibrations to around 90 some odd % in most devices and reduce wear and tear on it, increase efficiency. And I think that's something that people are really underestimating with KULR. And Dr. Walker went into extensive detail with all of that in the AMA. So head to that post. I just posted it yesterday into Reddit. It's like 1 or 2 down in the most recent post. And so just look for our logo in there, the Small Cap Voice logo, and you'll see the entire spreadsheet of all the questions from the event.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to go back to what you said about Forge Nano, Amprius, all these partners and the big news that they put out. Go to Small Cap Voice on X, aka Twitter. We've been putting out those updates. I know Kevin said that, but he kind of quickly went through that. Follow us on Twitter because we're going to be giving you some of the things that look. KULR's a company like so many public companies that has an air of conservatism about them. So they do not showboat. They do not update you on every little thing that may happen with their partners, but we see true value in that. And I think as investors, you will see that as well, because as we're about to talk about with the US Army, when you've got powerful partners and they're expanding their work with you as a company, that is important. And so many of you said, I don't really understand Amprius's business model. I don't understand Forge Nano. I don't know, and now most of you do. It's pretty clear, but this is sort of a brave new world for a lot of us here. This battery tech, battery safety, battery thermal propagation is a term that may be new to you, but again, it's thermal runways. It's keeping these e-bikes and other things and all these batteries safe. So we've been talking about that. I don't want to bury the lead. We're going to get to that US Army press release, but so much of this stuff, even from the YouTube video about the short squeeze, all the way to what just came out on Zach's Small Cap Research, it's all important stuff. But Kevin, most importantly, I know, is how KULR views their shareholders. They do care about them greatly. The AMA, how do you feel like that was received by the shareholders, and what more could the company potentially do?
Yeah. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but part of one of my responsibilities with our communication with KULR is I'm in every single social channel for that company every single day, making sure that we, as we like to say, take the temperature of where the shareholder sentiment is. After that AMA, everybody's really super happy about it because they're finally getting some of the answers to questions that they've been looking to get for a long, long time. So it doesn't matter what platform you guys are on. I typically see what you guys are posting, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then I translate it back to the company. And that actually brings up a really, really key moment in the AMA that I really, really enjoyed Will doing when we were talking about communication and how KULR communicates to the shareholders. Will actually took the initiative and he said, hey guys, you know what? I want to hear from you. Can we hear how KULR can improve our communication to our shareholders? And it launched a massive derailing conversation from almost every single shareholder that was participating in the AMA, to the point where I had to say, hey guys, let me make a standalone post on Reddit. We're going to get every single one of those answers to the company, to Dr. Walker, to our contacts over at KULR, make sure that everybody sees them there. But KULR wants to know how to improve their communication, whether it's better presentations, better social media, better content, better copywriting, new forms of media, whatever you guys want to see. Go ahead and let them know. To be honest with you, I hang out in that channel pretty frequently because of the extensive due diligence that that group of people has put into KULR. So head to Reddit. It's the subreddit KULR, just r/KULR. That's where you're going to find all this info.
That's great stuff, Kevin. And I really appreciate your time and all the effort you put into that. And especially I appreciate Will Walker and just the vibe. Sorry to use that pun intended, the vibe that Will Walker put off in that AMA. I think it was very well received. And you know what? I think he threw the gauntlet down a little bit. And so that's why I've been saying to Michael Moe, hey, Michael, it's time to get back on with me. Let's tackle some topics myself with you. And one of those topics will probably be this expanded contract with the United States Army, and even more so, paving the way for KULR One Guardian battery production. I think that is my sleeping dragon for this interview, the paving the way for the Guardian battery production in 2025. So another big thing about this is what we've already pointed out. It's yet another re-up from the United States Army. It's a huge validation for a company trading at this price point, which is absurd at this point. We know why it's there. We know the baggage that the company was carrying in 2023 from an equity standpoint with some of the fundraising efforts they've done in the past. That slate has been cleaned up. This kind of work for the company is the kind of work everybody wants to see. It's what I get hit up about. We can't talk about it yet, people, and I hope you understand that. There will be another earnings call coming up in November. We'll get all your questions answered then, but everybody wants to know about the health of the company. I always have to say one thing from a compliance standpoint: the health of the company should be based on the flow of the news that you see. And these expanded contracts from massive entities like the US Army are the shot in the arm that I believe this company needs. And again, they're going to be having and launching their own battery production with this Guardian battery. Any morsels or items that jump off the page for you in this press release?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with the word validation. We hear it from KULR shareholders. I see it from KULR shareholders all the time on social media. KULR following through with revenue projections and things like that. You got a cool company like KULR that actually has the backbone, we'll say the proper word there, to go out and actually make some projections and put some like earning projections out there. It's pretty impressive to see a company kind of take that initiative. But if those happen to fall short and KULR is not a single source on some of these contracts, that's kind of understandable. I've done a lot of government procurement in my day. It's not a joke. I used to do the trade show program for the United States Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. And so I've been in this space a lot. And when you're doing government procurement and you are not sole source on a contract, you do set your estimates. You do set up how things are looking based on the probability of a contract coming in. If one of those contracts falls through, that revenue projection falls through, and it's not necessarily your fault. So what I love seeing, and I'm being not like directly upfront about this, is with this Army contract, with Amprius, with Clarios, with Serba, with Forge Nano, with the Artemis project that we got coming up from NASA. We haven't even talked about that one in detail yet. With all of these things coming to fruition, it's starting to look like KULR, who again is not the sole source on these contracts. They're working with other companies to get involved with bigger players. It looks like all these big contracts are starting to come through. And that's something that we've been waiting for years from KULR. And I really appreciate what we're starting to see with the US Army. That's, again, like you said, huge validation.
Well, you know what I would appreciate, Kevin? I would appreciate it if everybody subscribed to our YouTube, if they would visit us on X, and also, of course, the company, which they can do so. We're going to keep you in the know real time as best we can throughout trading hours. Look at our updates as they come out. They come out daily, practically. And we've got a list of great clients that we'd like you to check out at our website, smallcapvoice.com. So please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and of course, leave your comments below. Kevin, anything from you, my man, before we close out?
No, that'll do it. Always a pleasure to be here, Stuart. Thank you.
All right, for Kevin Gray, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for tuning in.